Hello, I'm D.W. Brown. You find me here in my Zoom setup. I have the great privilege of being in the MWP family, Michael Wiese Productions book family, and they asked me to do a little piece, a little something about my books. You Can Act on Camera, a complete guide for actors, also in a Chinese edition, which I find very thrilling. And then I did a follow-up, smaller little add-on book, You Can Act on Camera. So I've been teaching acting for quite a while now, and I put everything I know about acting, the instruction of acting, into this book. It's a how-to, it's a manual. It's not like what many acting books are, stories of the histories of the author and anecdotal. It could be quite lovely and fascinating stuff, but it's not really what this is, a manual. That's what I went for. Like if you were on a desert island with nothing but this, you could, maybe you need another few castmates, but you could do the thing that is acting, following the instruction in this book. It's not a lot of acting can be kind of hooky-pooky. People make sort of a mystical science out of it. And while the thing itself is pretty miraculous and probably never to be known, art, we know how to cultivate seeds. We know how to now pretty dependably cultivate actors. And so I put it into this book. I have a technique that is based on a guy named Sanford Meisner's work at his neighborhood playhouse. I originated with Strasberg. I worked with Lee Strasberg himself, but I became a convert to this system, which I think is a little more clean psychologically. I have no problem if you want to be called your character's name and torment the flesh for the sake of your part, as long as I get to enjoy your performance. But I just feel this technique is maybe a little bit more effective, and the artist can have maybe a little bit more of a full life. They don't burn out quite as quickly. I thought I would immodestly enough read a review that I got on Amazon, and I do not know the person who wrote this. I promise you that. They say in acting, the most important thing is look them in the eye and tell the truth. I am telling you the truth. I do not know the author of this review, but he said these lovely things. He said, "This is the greatest book on acting I've read." And I've read many. It's deeply steeped in the Meisner technique, which is my preferred method. Even Stanislavski Strasberg actors, however, should give this a read. The beauty of it is that it breaks down a very technical process into layman's terms and provides a perfect reference book for actors to brush up on before an audition or beginning a role. Even if you know everything in the book, it's still helpful to brush up on the stuff that might have fallen through the cracks of your memory or remind you of the importance of certain techniques one overlooks out of laziness and arrogance, etc. We all do it. It helps seeing it written down sometimes to help remind you of the importance of it. Going on to say, the author, D.W. Brown, co-owns the Baron Brown Studio with his wife, Joanne Baron, one of our premier acting coaches in Los Angeles. I've worked with several actors who've come out of that studio, and they're easily the most consistently well-trained of the actors I've worked with. And while talent varies, the work ethic doesn't, and the actors are always basing their work on the good practices. I have not met a bad actor coming out of their program. So if you live in LA and you're looking for an acting class, I would highly recommend Baron Brown. So there's a plug for our studio here in Santa Monica as well. This is the book I recommend to actors. There are several good ones. Meisner's own books are great. I've Anik Chubbuck's book, Michael Caine's Acting on Film. I've not read Stella Adler's books, but I hear great things about those as well. But D.W. Brown's You Can Act is the definitive one for me. While the others deliberate philosophy and broad concerns with still useful information, You Can Act boils it down to the nuts and bolts in very direct, often humorous, and simple, easy to understand terms. It's also filled with interesting anecdotes about the interesting, not too many. I try to avoid that, only for really pertinent examples. And it's written like you're having a casual conversation with someone who loves acting and is excited to talk about it with someone who also loves acting. I really dig that about it. It may mean squat to you, but this earns my highest recommendation if you're an actor or even a writer or director to understand the actor's process. And that I would say also is very important, I think, for anybody associated with this undertaking to have some understanding of the acting process. The actors are, after all, the tip of the spear, as it were, And it's a good thing to know what the pilot feels like, even if you're somebody who's just designing aircraft or involved in that aviation field. In the field of storytelling, I think you might do well by looking at my book. But thanks for your time. That's my little spiel. Godspeed.